So here we are again. Thanks to Artem for sending me some new straps to review. As always, completely open and honest, I don't have to send these back. They're effectively gifted to me. It doesn't impact my view on them. If I didn't think they were any good, I wouldn't be doing this review. I do really strongly rate Artem as a brand and as a company. The way they communicate with myself and the quality of their actual product, which is what matters, is absolutely fantastic. But yeah, full disclosure, these have been gifted to me. I do have other videos specifically covering the NATO straps and their classic sailcloth straps and their loopless straps. So I won't be talking about those on this video. This video is specifically to cover the new straps that they've sent me in. So without further ado, we will swap over to a quick run through of the website, look at the straps, the specific strap which I've got today, and then we'll come back here to look at the strap itself. We'll discuss the comfort, the looks, the quality and the value. So before we get into the review of the actual product itself, I always think it's quite good, especially with this company, to do a quick look at their website. Their photography is absolutely excellent. You do get a real understanding of what the product's actually going to look like, unlike when you look at companies like Omega and Zenith, where I think the photography of their product is rubbish. Other companies do it well as well, but Artem, I think, are particularly good. So you can see just the watches and the various different straps there. I will say they do seem to listen to reviews and to feedback. So one of my previous comments was that they could do a lot more colour options on their NATOs, and since then they have released this new kind of summer blue nylon strap, and I'll show you that in just a moment. The video isn't really about this, but I will show you that strap. It is a nice colourway. Also, where are we? They have started to release some new colours. So in the loopless strap design, you can see they've got this new beige one. This wasn't there before. So they are starting to release some new colours in their existing strap line, which I think is really nice as well. They do have straps for a variety of budgets. You've got the loopless ones at £109, obviously, plus then your hardware, and if you want quick release spring bars, etc. Then you've got the hydroflex ones, which are the most expensive at £179. And then you've got their standard classic sailcloth straps at £70. So there are straps for the majority of budgets. You can't get away from the fact they are quite expensive straps, but that is because genuinely they are fantastic quality straps. So this is the one I'm going to be reviewing today. I've got the blue one as well, but this is the one that's on my watch. So you can kind of zoom in. You know, you can get really up to the detail. You can see the kind of finishing that's going on. You can see the kind of texturing on the straps themselves. They're very reflective of what the product ultimately looks like, and obviously you can tap out of it. And then you've got the description of the product itself, as you'd expect, including lengths and so on and so forth. So yeah, I think it's a really good, very professional website. So if you are interested, obviously have a buzz across there. Okay, so as you can see from the website, you really do get a good understanding of what the straps actually look like, and it is very much true to form. I think they look absolutely fantastic. We'll come on to that in a minute. So we'll just go through the strap itself. So this is the latest offering. It's called the hydroflex strap, water, dust, everything resistant effectively. So the strap is a combination of two materials, really. You've got their kind of synthetic cordura or sailcloth effect on top, with a FKM rubber under and side. So that's quite different. I quite like that, and I'll come on to that in the looks department eventually. And you've also got FKM rubber keepers as well. Obviously with the hardware, you can choose different hardware, and again we'll come on to that, but fundamentally it's two different materials that make up this particular strap. The strap comes with quick release spring bars, whereas on their other watches that was an £11 option. So this one does come with quick release spring bars. You probably expect that at the price of this strap, to be fair. At the moment, the watch only comes with 20mm lug spacing, and it's 20mm down to 18. And actually on these ones, it actually states that on the back of the strap as well. So you can see they're 20 down to 18. So it's 20 at the between the lugs, and then it comes down to 18 at the end where it meets the clasp or the deployant if you've got one of those. The hardware options are good, as you'd always expect with these guys. You've got this, I think it's DLC or is it PVD? So you've got a stainless steel pin buckle, which I do have, stainless steel Richard Mille or RM style deployant clasp, which is fantastic, DLC pin buckle, which this is, or a PVD RM style clasp. So basically you've got a pin buckle in black and silver and a RM style clasp in black and silver. On the pin buckle, the strap costs £178. There's no additional cost for getting the DLC pin, but with the RM style deployant, it costs £238, and that's excluding postage. So it's quite a lot of money, but as we'll come on to, I do think it's worth it. I will just demonstrate the RM one before. I've done this before, but it's a spring-loaded clasp, which I think is pretty cool. Other people are starting to do it. I've started to see it on, what make is it? Cartier, de Santos or Santos de Cartier. I've started to see this kind of style on there. Richard Mille obviously do it, but ultimately this piece here is a spring. So what happens is it goes in like that, and then like that as well. So it's completely spring loaded, which is pretty cool. I quite like it. It's a unique feature. I've not seen a strap like it before. The only reason I'm not using this on my watch at the moment is because it is a high gloss finish and my watch is bee blasted, so it doesn't really suit it. Whereas the pin buckle is brushed on top with a high gloss chamfer, so basically a lot less glossy, so it goes more with the style of my watch. Comfort. The strap is extremely flexible. I'll demonstrate with this one. It's really hard to see, but it's extremely flexible. FKM rubber, I've not had FKM rubber straps before, but it is extremely supple. Even at the top where you can see it's thicker, it's very, very flexible. It's not like their Artem's other straps and other rubber straps I've had where you have a bit of a break-in period. I've been wearing this one for 2 days and 2 nights. So it's been in a curved position, either on my wrist or on a pillow for more than 48 hours. And even after that, it still doesn't really retain any kind of shape. Okay, so I'm just trying to hold it like that. So you can see it's got a very, very slight curve, but not really much of a curve at all. As an example, this is my Zenith strap, which has been off my wrist, off the watch for, I don't know, 3-4 weeks, and you can see how curved that is. It really maintains its structure once it gets there, but it has a break-in period of 3 or 4 days to get to a point before it's comfortable. Whereas with this strap, there is no break-in period. So if you look at that now, that's basically straight. Okay, there's nothing to that. If I put it on my wrist, bear with me. There you go. So that's where it should be on my wrist. It's a little bit snug, but it's fine. But there's no kind of break-in. So what you get, and what you notice with other watch straps and other Artem straps, is that the side bits where it's a bit thicker, so up here, they take a while to curve to your wrist and take the shape of your wrist to become comfortable. So if you put them on a slightly bigger setting, which I will do now, what typically happens is the strap, which you can see it's really big. Can you see? Yeah, you can see it's massive. It would lift the watch off the wrists like that. But with these, because they're so flexible, even though it's in a ridiculously big setting, it doesn't do that. So it is a very, very soft, very supple rubber, like I've not had on any of my watches before. I had a Hirsch natural rubber strap that was very similar, but that did need break-in and did lift the watch off my wrist. So it's a bit of an odd one. It's extremely comfortable. It has no break-in period, but it won't ever curve properly to your wrist. And the only negative I can say about that is when I do have it on, oh, hang on, what I would call the proper setting, the proper length for my wrist. I would like it to be a little bit curvier here, because it is the right size and it is comfortable, but it does just dig in ever so slightly to my wrist. So there isn't a break-in period. It's very soft, it's very supple, but I would prefer it if it did hold its shape a little bit better, because it literally doesn't hold its shape at all. And I'm assuming that's the whole point of FKM rubber straps. They're just so soft, they don't need to hold their shape. So I do change between wearing it on the tighter setting and the looser setting, depending on obviously how hot I am and how much my wrist has swollen. Like lots of straps, it has cutouts on the inside to wick moisture and to allow air to go through. That's not unique anymore. That's pretty common for these straps, but it is very well done indeed. I do like, I'll talk about that in a minute actually. So one thing that has surprised me is the keepers, right? I don't know why I keep taking this off and on. Might as well just leave it on and use the other strap. What I do really like is these keepers. They don't move. So on lots of my other straps, this one, particularly the floating keeper, will just kind of slide up my wrist, and I'm constantly doing this, using these two fingers and then pushing the keeper back into position. I don't have to do that on this. I'm not sure if that's because the rubber is kind of sticking to the other rubber, which is on the outside of the strap, or it's sticking to my wrist, but I do like that. It is something I've noticed. I'm not constantly having to adjust the keeper on it. The other nice thing about the keepers is if I move this one out the way, you can see the static keeper has two little holding pins. So it sits inside those. So that one never moves anyway. Whereas a sliding keeper can move and does when it's not on the wrist, but when it's on the wrist, for some reason it doesn't, which I really appreciate. And I think this colour looks bloody fantastic on my watch. I really, really like it. What else do we have to say for comfort? I think that's kind of it really. It's extremely comfortable. Like I say, it's the softest, most comfortable strap I've had. I just wish when it was bent, it would stay bent and conform to the wrist a little bit more. And that would make it even more comfortable than it already is. So looks-wise, looks are very subjective. Some people like it, some people won't. It's obviously quite a sporty strap in nature. It's completely water resistant, as you'd expect from a rubber strap. It's got the black sides to it, which some people will and some people won't like. For me, it works brilliantly because I've got a black watch, or if you've got a black dial watch, I think that would work really well. Or if you've got black accents on your watch. But if you don't have any black to your watch at all, you might struggle with that. It's not quite as refined a looking strap as their classic sailcloth strap. So it's definitely more on the sporty side, and the elements of black will or won't put some people off. One other thing I do really like about it is the older straps had one less hole, adjustment hole, and they were bigger. And for me, that looked a lot less refined. So even though it's the more refined looking strap in theory, the smaller holes and extra pinhole actually make this not only look more refined in that way, but also give you more points of adjustment. So I do actually prefer that about these. And if it was me, I would like to see this exact setup on the classic strap as well. Smaller holes and more of them. It just looks a lot nicer. 1 second. I do really like having the various coloured tops. I'm going to take it off, even know what I said, with the black underside, especially with a black watch. I just think it looks great. I'm really, really enjoying it, to be fair, more so than their other straps, and I thought their other straps were really good as well. I'm a big fan of the kind of sailcloth effect. I've had other straps before which are just kind of flat rubber, and they do mark up and scratch really easily, and they look a bit pants quite quickly. Whereas with this, because it's got that kind of effect on it, not only does it give it something a little bit more visually but it does mean that it won't mark anything like just like flat rubber does, like on a rubber bee or something like that. So again, that's something that from a looks perspective and from a durability perspective, I do appreciate. The branding on the clasp is really, really subtle. So you can see it there on that one. Obviously, you've got the branding on the underside, but you're never going to see that Artem there. And then if I do the RM one, you can see it's very similar. You've got the branding there. So if you're wearing this on your, whatever it is, Zenith, Amiga, Tudor, Seiko, whatever, you don't have the branding in your face, which is quite nice. Because I have seen some straps where the branding is actually printed on the strap itself, and you don't want to be going around wearing, well, some people might not, a very obviously different branded strap on a different brand watch. So subtle branding is something I do really appreciate, and it is extraordinarily subtle. So really like that as well. I think that might be it for the looks. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, that's it. Right, quality. So the quality I've already talked about in terms of the rubber being super soft. The kind of sailcloth effect is fantastic as well. But really, I want to just talk about just how well made it is. So where you've got the need to join these two pieces together, the stitching is absolutely on point. It is incredible. The sides, there's no rough finishing, there's no kind of rubber shavings or edges that aren't quite right. Where it's come to a point, you can see it's just done absolutely brilliantly. There's no imperfections or issues with it whatsoever. It's clearly very, very well made. Where you've got the kind of sailcloth meeting the rubber, you can see how well it's stitched in. Even the line across it is completely flat. You've got a really nicely cut out hole for the spring bar. It's just exceptionally well made. Their straps have always been great, but this is just a step above the other straps I've had from them. It's absolutely incredible quality. As I mentioned earlier, even down to the point where they thought about putting these little hooks in so this keeper doesn't move. It's just a brilliantly made strap. I cannot fault their straps at all. The hardware has also come on quite a long way. I will just put a picture in a moment looking at this pin buckle compared to the older pin buckle. I much prefer this one, so I did reach out to Artem, and this is a pin buckle that is only for this style. This pin buckle here, the other style straps will have a slightly different one, but you can see the chamfering on the top. It has finer brushing than the previous straps as well, and even the pin itself I think is a slightly higher quality than the ones I've seen from them before. They did say they've improved the quality of the other straps, also the other pins, so hopefully they're as good as this one. But from a visual perspective, I just think this has got more going on with it than the buckles I saw on the previous straps. The RM clasp, I've talked about that in my other videos and I've mentioned it just now. It's a really cool made piece of kit, and of all of their deploying clasps, I think that's by far the best one. So yeah, I really do like the quality of the pin buckles. I think they're far improved over the previous watches that I got, and I definitely prefer the shape of them as well. What would I like to see? I think from a perspective of hardware, it would be nice to see, they've got good variations at the moment. So like I say, you've got a choice between these two, but I would like to see fully brushed, fully polished, fully brushed, fully polished, maybe even be blasted. Because then if you do have a watch like this, you might have a fully polished watch, and then you don't want some brushed hardware on it, you want fully polished hardware. Or you might want fully brushed or fully be blasted to go with your watch like this. And I appreciate that would be quite expensive to do. You'd have to hold stock, and it's a bit more of a challenge. But from a customer's perspective, to be able to perfectly match a clasp or hardware to the actual watch itself would be absolutely ideal. So that's what I would like to see, because at the moment it's a very close match, but it's not quite, and it's got a high polish, whereas my watch has no high polish on it. So it works, but it could be improved. And I think from a customer experience perspective and matching your watch perspective, there is work that could be done there. Where else? I think that might be it for the quality. yeah, I think that's kind of it. So value, we've talked about value before. I mentioned it in the opening. You know, they range from 70 to 250 quid or whatever it was, but they are exceptional. And if you're looking at anything that competes with it, such as Rubber Bee, they're all more expensive. Everest, they're more expensive, and I think is a far more interesting than those straps. Obviously, some people will prefer straps that hug the watch like the Rubber Bees. These ones don't, but neither does my Zenith, so it doesn't bother me at all. And from a business perspective, it means for Artem, these can fit on every watch, basically. Whereas if you start to make them specific to watches, it becomes more expensive and more difficult. So I've got no issues with that. I personally don't have an issue with the prices either. I think for the quality that you're getting, these are the best rubber straps I've ever had, and these are a step above their other rubber straps as well. With the colours that they've got, you can match them to pretty much any strap you've got. I think they're absolutely phenomenal. I really recommend this brand. I think they're great. I think that might be it. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the video and I will do my best to respond. But yeah, Artem, I think they do fantastic straps. You'll see them with a lot of YouTubers. They're really putting their brand out there and their product out there. And I hope other YouTubers appreciate it as much as I do, because they're great. If you're not sure about the rubber strap you'd like to get, definitely give them a go. Thanks, everyone. I did forget to mention, this is the new strap I showed on their website that they sent. It's like a summer colour. I actually really like I like blue, so I'm a sucker for blue. I still think there's some work they can do on their hardware for these. I don't know if there's a different manufacturer for the straps compared to these, but you can see the finishing is good, but it's not 100%. And I wonder if they'd be better off just doing it brushed. Often when I see NATO straps, the hardware is brushed because it hides manufacturing defects effectively, and they're not really that bad, but they are noticeable. You can just see there where it's obviously come off the machine, and you can see those little marks on it. And I think, yeah, there you go, you can see it on this one as well. There you go. But like the other NATO straps, please look at that video. I think this is a fantastic colour to add to the catalogue. Again, the straps are in incredible quality, but probably just a little bit of work to do on the hardware. So yeah, sorry about this extra little tag on bit. If you have any questions, as always, please let me know.